Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Joey, from Joey Plays Games, the YouTube channel. And today, I wanted to make a video talking about Titans Season 3 on HBO Max. But before I do that, let's take a moment and like the video. Like the video, please. It helps the channel grow a lot. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And comment your thoughts on the video that you haven't watched yet down below in the comments. And it'll give me something entertaining to read. And I appreciate you. But let's get into the video. We are now at episode 10. Episode 10 aired at 3 o'clock in the morning last night. I, for some reason, was still awake and watched it. And I decided it's time for me to sit down and talk about my thoughts about the show. First 3 episodes are good. Let's get a base level primer here. Titans is not the show that I would make. And that's because I think the show gets a lot of things. It chooses to be darker, to go down this more visceral route when it comes to comic book shows. It's trying to emphasize the language. Language doesn't bug me. It's just kind of weird sometimes. But I think they do get some of the dynamic wrong. The Titans in my mind were always supposed to be a family. And they've kind of leaned more into it this season, talking about family and them all moving together as a team and that kind of stuff. But they still have these weird kind of quibbling things. And I'm like, this is never how it's been in the popular eye. That this is not how I would put these characters on the screen for the first time. But it's neither here nor there. So I've grown to enjoy the interpretation of the characters on the show. I enjoyed Nightwing. Beast Boy's kind of weird that he's only got the one tiger thing, but they had hinted that that was going to evolve a little bit with the help of Raven, and now that Raven's back in the show, she comes back in episode 10 from her trip to Themyscira to revive Donna Troy, who died from saving a girl under a lightning thing last season. Trust me, this is a comic book show. You're really in for the long haul here. If you're watching this video, you know that all this stuff's happening, but just talking about my thoughts. I think Superboy's growing into his own. The relationship with Blackfire is interesting, but after what they did last night with Blackfire, where she kind of stole Corey's powers, it's in a weird area that I don't think they're going to go back to that. I think Blackfire is going to now really become a villain, or at least more of a gray area character. I want to highlight the introduction of Barbara Gordon, played by the one and only Savannah Welch. She's had some awesome fight scenes. She's got really good chemistry with Brenton Thwaites as Dick Grayson. They've had a cool kind of flashback episode that kind of showed her before the Joker accident. They've kind of hinted at it. In this universe, Jim Gordon has died, so she is now taken over as commissioner of police. She is not involved with the Bat family at all whatsoever. In the starting episodes of the show, there was kind of talk over not talk, but there was a weird relationship between her, or weird tension between her, Dick Grayson, and Bruce Wayne before Bruce Wayne killed Joker and then got suicidal the last time we showed him. But then Donna Troy saved him. See, the show's really complicated, and that's why doing a whole season recap video is a little whatever. But it'll make the episode 11, 12, and 13 video a lot better because I can focus solely on that episode. So I just want to say I really enjoy their Savannah Welch's chemistry with Brendan. I think I'm excited to see where that goes. Hopefully they don't do what most shows do and draw it out. They kind of committed to it a couple episodes ago, and there was no real scenes from it last night for any of that, but the plot didn't really connect with that except for her saving the team after they get ambushed because Red Hood, who's had some ups and downs. He was trying to join back in the Titans after he committed heinous crimes, and they were going to let him, but then Scarecrow convinced him to betray them, and Scarecrow dumped water in the city, and now the city's panicking. And let's get into that for a second. I feel like this could be, and this is done, I don't know what the budget is off the top of my head, but I feel like this could be done with a cheap budget, but still be a little more intimidating. Like I don't know what your budget on The Dark Knight was, but the way scenes were framed and the tightness of camera shots made it feel that there was a panic once you had that end scene where the Joker's starting to blow up things and the National Guards come in and blocked off parts of Gotham. Same thing with Dark Knight Rises, where you had some of those. Dark Knight Rises had a bigger budget, I think, but you have those scenes creating that inducing feeling of panic and paranoia that I feel like could be done just a little better, but because of the large roster that they have going on with the Titans, with having Starfire, Blackfire, Superboy, Beast Boy, Nightwing, now Raven, and Donna Troy coming back, and then having to also talk about Hawk and Dove when they're there, and then keeping in contact with Barbara Gordon as police commissioner, that it's hard for them to do that, and I feel like that's sometimes can be a detriment to the show. It's not to the point where it's preventing you from enjoying it altogether, but it just sometimes when it's trying to set up stakes and feelings for something to pay off later, it doesn't work the best. But we're at an interesting point in the show. The Titans have now kind of not disbanded, but they've been separated at the end of episode 10, which is an interesting place to put them in, because they're now on the run from the law, because there was a big fight breakout, which is this middle bottom picture, in GCPD, because they were going to turn themselves in and then pay bail and then operate in secret, but they got ambushed because Red Hood paid off the cops to provoke a fight, and then Barbara Gordon got arrested. So there's some interesting things to pick up on when episode 11 resumes, because Donna Troy is now fully back in Gotham. She's gone through her training, gotten her sword back, gotten herself readjusted to the world. Raven is now back. She was reunited with Beast Boy at the end of the episode. She found Beast Boy after the GCPD fight, and then Connor and Dick are together in some weird radio towers. The city's going to hell, and I think there's a good chance that the last 3 episodes of this could bang pretty hard. It's kind of what happened with the Deathstroke, the climax of last season. They did a really good job of bringing it all together full circle, having some really cool action set pieces and creating some good moments between characters. You got Ian Glenn coming back as Bruce. Presumably after Donna Troy saved him, that he'll reappear in the last couple episodes. They've been hinting at Dick taking over the role of Batman. So there's some cool things up in the air that we could see come to fruition in the next couple of episodes. It'll be interesting to see where they leave Red Hood at the end of this, because I know typically transfers to an anti-hero role, but right now he's kind of crossed that line a little bit, to the point that I don't know if that's very likely, if he's likely to just go in jail and then eventually break out or something. There's talk that season 4 has already been greenlit behind the scenes because of the numbers. This show does really well numbers wise. It did really well numbers wise season 1 and 2, so there's a very good chance that it's been greenlit behind the doors for season 4, which will probably be announced in in about 2 weeks at DC Fandom on October 16th, which will be right over 2 weeks. There'll be 1 episode left, so maybe there'll be a trailer highlighting the finale or something, or at least get a confirmation, something like that. There have been talks about doing spin-offs of various characters in the show, so maybe do a spin-off and then things, but you've got that's a whole mess that we'll talk about in another video on another day. I'm enjoying season 3. I think it's had some better highlight moments that really captured the essence of what Titans is. I think the thing that the show tends to go for by creating panic with the villain at the end causes some things that could just be highlights of the budget issue and how they've chosen to tell the story, how large they've chosen to let the roster be. I enjoy the relationships they've set up. I'm here for the long haul. We'll be back, or I'll be back next week to do kind of an episode 11 breakdown video. You'll be with me here, YouTube, as we hold our hands and we walk through to the other side of this show and experience as DC fans, as we suffer together. I'm kidding. It's not suffering. There's some good moments. So, thank you guys so very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of Titans Season 3 so far. What did you think of last night's episode 10? Let me know just if you think the show is ridiculous and I should stop watching it altogether. I probably won't, because I'm a DC nerd. You got Nightwing in there. It's the first time Nightwing's on the screen. I got to show my boy some love. And he's with Babs. Come on. It's brownie points. So subscribe, like the video, please. It really does help the channel grow. I'll be back next week to do an episode 11 video. And next video on the channel should be a Venom Let There Be Carnage expectations video. It'll probably be a short video just talking about my experience rewatching Venom last night, kind of where my head's at with the trailers, where my head's at with the early film critic reviews, where my head's at with the audience reviews, expectations for the post-credit scene. That's supposed to be pretty cool. So stay tuned for that video. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.